Yes, guys, I'm Si. Welcome to Cardiff City World. We're in a different place again, as you can see. It's Monday morning, so I'm at the radio station. But I wanted to record some videos and do some content, as always. And look, today we're looking at, from the current squad, who could be the next captain of Cardiff City from the current squad. We don't know who's going to come in, but we'll have a look. For over a decade, Joe Ralls wasn't just a midfielder. He's the heartbeat of this club. Promotions, relegations, cup runs, chaos. He led Cardiff City with pride and integrity. But now, the armband's up for grabs. So, who steps up? Who leads the Bluebirds into this bold, exciting new era under Brian Barry Murphy? Well, today on Cardiff City World, we're going to go deep. From data to dressing room dynamics, we're going to break down every contender, in our opinion, and maybe even throw in a couple of wild cards. But I want you to give me your opinion, as always, in the comments. So first up, farewell to a club captain. Joe Ralls leaves behind some big boots, big leadership. Over 350 appearances for Cardiff City, 11 years in the senior squad, a captain who gave the fans and the badge everything, on and off the pitch. He's vocal when needed, composed, respected across the EFL, and crucially, he knew what it meant to wear that bluebird. But with his departure, we are left asking, do we go with a tried and tested? Do we go with a brave and new bold solution? Because if Cardiff want to climb out of League One and do it quickly, they need to build something fresh, something new, and leadership is everything. What makes a great captain? An interesting question, but before we pick names, I guess, let's break down what exactly we're looking for. What does a Cardiff City captain need? Well, they need presence, on and off the pitch, in the dressing room, professionalism, for the young lads to aspire to. They need someone, the group needs someone to inspire them. Communication needs to be someone who's vocal, clear, and trusted by the manager. I don't think they need to be a screamer and a shouter, as long as they communicate effectively with their teammates and the manager. Passion. Again, it doesn't necessarily need to be a passion that's chest bumping and badge slapping all the time. As long as it's a community-based thing, it's something that the group feel that everyone knows they have. This isn't just a club. It is a community. It is a family. And we need to regain that feeling. Above all, I think they need to be consistent and they need to find consistency. That's the Joe Ralls blueprint in a lot of ways. So, who are the contenders? Well, I think first up you've got Callum O'Dowda, the caretaker leader, if you like. Unless it's a familiar name, of course. O'Dowda captained the side many times last season in Ralls' absence. He's experienced, he's likeable, positive influence around the dressing room, and he led the club and the group last year with absolute integrity. But let's look at some of the pros and the cons. In terms of the pros, he's one of the more senior players in the group. He's popular with his teammates and fans alike. He's versatile on the pitch, understands a load of different roles. He's a strong communicator, and he doesn't shy away from any media, leadership roles, duties off the pitch either. In terms of the cons, so I felt his form dropped a little bit during his captaincy stint last year. He looked a lot more relaxed and comfortable when he wasn't the captain. Injuries limited his influence in the 23-24 season, although last season was better. The season before he only made 17 appearances, so that could potentially be an issue. We don't want to go down the same route we've just had with Joe. He's often deployed as a left back. I don't think that's his best position, but I have heard that that's where he wants to play. I don't think he always looks comfortable there, but that's where he wants to play, that's where he feels more comfortable, and I think he doesn't feel that maybe he's got the pace and the athleticism, I suppose, to be a left winger. So if he is a left back, is he a guaranteed starter? Because I don't think we want to go through the same thing of having the captain on the bench all the time. So that's definitely something to consider. In terms of stat watching, his average rating per match on SofaScore last year was about 6.77, so just under 7 out of 10 a week. Look, it's just probably slightly below the squad average. FB ref, his passing percentages was 78.9%. Again, tidy, but not remarkable. He's a steady head, maybe not the spark needed to energise this new era. I don't know though, you tell me. Next up, we had Jack Alnwick. Can a keeper really be the permanent captain? The man between the sticks, Jack Alnwick. Now, you know, we've had discussions about the goalkeeper a lot, not just him, but also Howveth. Jack Alnwick wore the armband. He was the vice captain, I think, and it was only when he was injured that O'Dowda took over. In terms of the pros and the cons, I think the pros, he's vocal by nature, being a keeper. He's constantly organising the back four. They definitely looked more comfortable when he was there because he's a bit more communicative. He's very experienced. He's made over 300 appearances in his career. He's well respected internally. Reportedly a very positive dressing room voice. A solid, pretty solid form, I guess, in a struggling team. He had 8 clean sheets in 30 starts. I think we should get a new keeper. So that brings the cons. The age-old question, should a keeper be a captain? I'm not so sure, because he can't influence things further up the field. He's not always involved in the key dynamics in the midfield and the centre-backs and stuff like that. He did make a few costly errors last season, and maybe his confidence took a knock. And again, we don't want to have the same issues that we've had previously. He had a save percentage of 70.2, the top 12 in the championship. And he also had long ball accuracy of 34.8. Again, decent but not elite. A solid choice. But I think if Brian Barry Murphy wants an on-pitch general, then Alnwick probably gets lost in the shuffle. And next up, Perry NG. Experienced, but unconvincing. This is a tricky one for me because Perry NG ticks a lot of the boxes, but he also raises concerns. It's a tricky one because at his best, he's one of the best right backs in the championship, or he was, but he hasn't been at his best for a while. So looking at the pros, made over 130 appearances for the club, so that would normally put him right in the conversation. He's vocal. He commands his back line. He can play centre-back, he can play right-back. He gives us tactical flexibility. In theory, he's entering his prime at 28. He hasn't had a good 18 months, 2 years at Cardiff City. And that brings us to the cons. He's been heavily linked with a move away this summer, last summer. His form dropped off quite sharply at the end of the 23-24 season, and then 24-25, it really was quite poor until the last few games. There's been questions about his leadership, his mentality, his attitude, especially during the poor form of the team and some poor performances from himself. And he hasn't been consistent, or at least consistently good, for a while. And leaders, captains, they need to be. If you look at the stats, he makes on average 2.2 successful tackles per 90 minutes. His passing is at 74.1%. He gets dribbled past 1.42 per 90 minutes, which is a bit of a concern for a right back. And look, if he stays and he rediscovers his form, I think he is a genuine contender. But he would definitely need to earn the trust of the fans, the manager, the club, and he probably need to do that quite quickly. So, next up, I'm going to go a bit outside the box on a few now. So, Ruben Colwell, a captain to unlock a star. Now, here's our first outside the box option, Ruben Colwell. Yes, the flair player. Yes, a bit of an enigma. But what if captaincy is the key to unlocking that full potential? Again, let's look at the pros and the cons. pros, talented, technically Cardiff's most gifted player. A local lad, Cardiff fan, has matured and he's taken a lot more responsibility, looks a lot more mature in recent years, particularly 24, 25. I think he looks a lot more like himself. And maybe promoting him to be the captain and the leader of the group, that's telling him, you are our guy, you're the face of this revolution. And maybe that does get the best out of him, giving him that responsibility. But then, of course, you look at the cons, still being a bit inconsistent, not the most vocal, but he can lead by example. There's other ways to be a captain. Maybe, of course, maybe the pressure of the armband could also have the opposite effect of backfire. It could be the making of him, could be the breaking of him. In terms of the stats, created 34 chances, key passes per 90 minutes, 1.2 is really impressive. SOFA score average 6.85. That does need to rise, just under 7. Look, this would be a risky decision, but it would be brave. And I really think it could galvanise both Ruben and maybe get the fans on his side again as well. And then another one, Alex Robertson. Could he be the midfield general? He's got a bit of a bite about him. It's an intriguing one with Alex because he's only been here a season, but he does look like a bit of a leader. He's young, but he's quite aggressive. Let's look at the pros. He's vocal, he's aggressive, he's energetic, he presses. He's got that Manchester City pedigree. He does lead by example. He's relentless with his pressing, his tempo. He's technically excellent. He's very familiar with the way Barry Murphy wants to play and his mentality. If you look at the cons, still relatively new to the club. I don't think that really matters, and obviously he's still only 21. Again, I don't think that matters, but he maybe would need some senior players, your O'Dowders and that, to be around him if he was the captain. He is prone to silly yellow cards, so maybe he would have to manage that petulance a little bit. Stat watch, pressure per 90 minutes, 22.8. That's elite numbers. Pass completion, 83.1. Very, very good. Tackles per 90 minutes, 2.9, which is the highest in the City midfield. He's definitely one for the future, but the question is he ready now? His ceiling is really, really high as a footballer. Technical ability, aggression, he has got the lot. Is he ready to be a captain? Here we go. Now for the wild card. Dylan Lawler, the teenage skipper. Dylan Lawler, 18 years old, not even signed a new deal, not even a regular first teamer, really. I think we all expect him to be this year, but you never know with a new manager. You look at the pros, he's captained Cardiff and Wales at almost every level. He was captain of the under-21s when he was 18, captaining older lads. Commands respect far, far beyond his years. He's a defender with high tactical IQ, and he is seen as he is a natural leader. Look, promoting him would be bold, and it would be very symbolic, though, of Barry Murphy's revolution around the young players. The cons are pretty obvious. He hasn't nailed down that first team place technically at the moment. Could be a bit too much too soon, and could the pressure stall his development? It hasn't so far when he's captained the various sides. If he signs a new deal, I think it's a project worth investing in. He might not be the next captain, but I definitely think if he stays, he's a future captain, and I wouldn't be against giving him the vice captaincy alongside someone else. Next up, Yusuf Salic, the passion, the heart. Is it just hype? Let's talk about Yusuf, the striker with his heart on his sleeve. Not a traditional shout, but worth thinking about. Look at the pros. Massive passion. He plays like a fan on the pitch. Clearly loves Cardiff City. Led the press from the front. Would endear himself even more to fans if he had the armband, and would demand similar aggression and passion from his teammates. You look at the cons. He's still finding his feet as a consistent starter for Cardiff. Needs to improve certain aspects of his game, but I think he's an absolute starter week in, week out. I think he's got the right attitude. Is a striker ideal as a captain? Initially I thought no, because it could be quite isolating, but Wayne Rooney, Matt Letizia, many others, Alan Shearer, all been fantastic captains as strikers. Stat watch, pressures per 90 minutes, 19.6. 5 goals in 21 appearances with a 68.9% pass accuracy. He is a cult hero already. Can you build a captain around cult hero energy? It will be an interesting decision and one that I'm quite on board for. A couple of other sort of outside the box shouts, really. Let's rattle through a few names. Will Fish, I think he played a good portion of games for us in the second half of last season. He played over 40 games for Hibs, the season before that. He reads the game really well. He's a very old school defender in the way he goes about his defensive work. He's not super vocal, but he is quite mature, and I really liked the way he went about his defensive business, and I think he starts, so I think he'd be a decent choice. Another choice, it's real tricky, you know. Callum Chambers, very experienced. If he stays at the club, he's got to be in with a shout. He's a good technical footballer, very experienced player, so I think that would make some sense. Outside of that, I'm kind of struggling for any more ideas. I am interested in what you guys think. Each player has got their upside. They've also got a downside. They all come with risk, timing, and trust issues, of course. New signings may change this, but if we go on what we've got, who gets it? If you want safety, then probably Callum O'Dowd is your choice. If you want a bit more of a vocal leader, then maybe Jack Alnwick makes sense. If you want to rebuild around a Cardiff sort of icon and build a new face, maybe Ruben Colwell's the gamble. If you want that bit of aggression and that bit of technical ability, guaranteed starter, Alex Robertson is probably a good shout. Young, but again, builds around that Brian Barry Murphy way. If you want to go really outside the box, a real wild card, build around the future, then Dylan Lawler is the gamble of a generation, but he is a generational talent. If you want passion, a cult hero, Yusuf Salic is your guy. Absolutely lives and breathes it. Loves Cardiff City. The fans love him. Would definitely get the fans and the players playing a certain way. And look, a big part of me wants to go with Alex Robertson, Ruben as like a vice captain duo, or Dylan Lawler if he signed a new deal, because I really think that could be a massive signifier of what Brian Barry Murphy's around. I think from the current squad, I'm probably going with Will Fish or Yusuf Salic. Hungry, vocal, they both got a bit of the old school about them. They're the kind of players that I think other players follow, and under Brian Barry Murphy, they could be the ones on the pitch to conduct and really move us into this new era with a new identity. But look, let's be real, he's wide open, and maybe, just maybe, the captaincy decision will tell us everything we need to know about how brave this new Cardiff City era and manager will be. It's going to be fascinating, but ultimately, the king is gone, the throne is empty, and now it's time to crown a new leader. I've been Si, this is Cardiff City World. Make sure you hit subscribe, like, all that good stuff. If you can become a member, become a member. Check out the limited edition Cardiff City World football shirts that are available currently, not for long. Let me know in the comments, who do you think would be the captain? Who would you pick to be the new captain out of this current squad? In the meantime, I will see you tonight. Don't forget, there's a member show this evening as well, but I will see you in a bit.